Imagine a world where death was not an end, but a journey. For the Vikings, the afterlife was a vibrant, often violent, realm, and a chieftain's passage needed to be spectacular. But among the roaring fires and grand longships, whispers of a far darker ritual persist. Not all Viking funerals were merely a send-off. Some included a chilling, voluntary human sacrifice. Tonight, we delve into the heart of this ancient mystery, exploring the beliefs, rituals, and the profound, often terrifying, devotion that sometimes led a living soul to join their master in the eternal journey to Valhalla. The Viking Age, from the late 8th to the mid-11th century, was a time of exploration, conquest, and profound spiritual belief. These Norse seafarers were not just raiders. They were skilled traders, artisans, and storytellers. Their sagas spoke of gods like Odin, Thor, and Freya, and a cosmos teeming with spirits, giants, and mythical beasts. Central to their worldview was the concept of fate, honor, and a glorious afterlife for those who died bravely. Death, therefore, was not feared but often embraced as a gateway to eternal glory, particularly for a chieftain. For a Viking chieftain, death was a critical transition. Their journey to the afterlife was believed to determine their eternal fate, often leading to Valhalla, Odin's hall, where fallen warriors feasted and prepared for Ragnarok. To ensure a chieftain's successful passage and to equip them for their eternal life, elaborate burial rituals were performed. These were not just ceremonies. They were vital acts of devotion, ensuring the deceased's honor and power continued in the realms beyond, a world as real as their own. Among the most impressive Viking funerals were the ship burials. A chieftain would be laid to rest within their vessel, surrounded by grave goods, weapons, tools, precious jewelry, and even sacrificed animals, all intended to accompany them into the next world. These ships, often magnificent works of craftsmanship, symbolized passage, power, and prestige. They were designed not just for earthly voyages, but for the ultimate journey across the cosmic sea, carrying their master to the halls of their ancestors and gods. Our most vivid and unsettling insight into Viking human sacrifice comes from an unexpected source. Ahmad ibn Fadlan, a 10th-century Arab diplomat. Sent by the Abbasid Caliph of Baghdad, Fadlan traveled to the Rus, a Viking tribe operating along the Volga River. His detailed account, transcribed in his Risala, offers an unparalleled, if sometimes horrifying, eyewitness perspective on their customs, trade, and astonishingly, a chieftain's funeral that involved a living sacrifice. It's a rare glimpse into a ritual that otherwise remains shrouded in mystery. The Rus, observed by Ibn Fadlan, were a group of Norsemen who had ventured eastward, establishing trade routes and settlements across modern-day Russia and Ukraine. They were fierce warriors and shrewd merchants, integrating with Slavic populations. While distinct from the Vikings of Scandinavia or the British Isles, their core Norse beliefs and customs were undeniably present. It was among these Eastern Vikings that Fadlan witnessed a funeral rite so extreme it would be recorded for 1,000 years, challenging our modern understanding of ancient devotion. Ibn Fadlan's account begins with the death of a Rus chieftain. For 10 days, his body was laid aside, awaiting preparations. During this time, his wealth was gathered, and decisions were made about his final journey. The concept of proper burial was paramount, not just for the deceased, but for the living. A chieftain's funeral was a demonstration of power, a community event, and a profound religious act designed to ensure the stability and prosperity of the tribe by honoring their fallen leader. Then came the chilling proposition. One of the chieftain's slave girls was asked if she wished to die with him. Ibn Fadlan explicitly states she assented, proclaiming, yes, to go with him. This volunteer aspect is crucial, though her agency in a slave society remains complex. A handmaiden was designated to oversee her preparations, a figure known as the Angel of Death, a stern, elderly woman who would orchestrate the final act. The girl's choice, however constrained, set in motion a profound, irreversible ritual. For 10 days following her choice, the slave girl lived in a state of elaborate, ritualistic preparation. She was waited upon like royalty, dressed in finery, and plied with intoxicating drinks. Each day, she drank a cup of mead or ale, singing and celebrating, as if her impending death was a joyous passage. She was even allowed to lie with any man who wished her, as if to experience earthly pleasures one last time. This period was a blur of feasting and ceremony, preparing her spirit for the ultimate journey. On the 11th day, the ship for the burial was pulled ashore and set upon a wooden platform. The chieftain, now clad in rich garments, was laid upon a couch inside a tent erected on the ship. Food, drink, and herbs were placed around him. Then dogs, horses, and chickens were ritually sacrificed and placed within the ship. These animals were not merely provisions. They were companions, ensuring the chieftain would not travel alone, reflecting the holistic view of life and death in Viking society. As the moment approached, the slave girl was led to a series of doorways or gateways, one after another. At each, men held her up to peer over, asking what she saw. At the first, she reported seeing her father and mother. At the second, her deceased relatives. And at the third, she claimed to see her master in the afterlife, beckoning her. These visions, whether induced by intoxicants or genuine belief, served to affirm her commitment and psychologically prepare her for the ultimate transition, binding her fate to the chieftain's eternal journey. The chilling climax arrived. The slave girl was led to the chieftain's tent on the ship. There, she was joined by the angel of death and 6 other men. The old woman placed a rope around the girl's neck, and 2 men pulled it tight, while the angel of death simultaneously stabbed her between the ribs with a dagger. This brutal efficiency was likely intended to ensure a swift death, fulfilling her commitment and sending her soul directly to accompany the chieftain, a final, horrifying act of devotion and ritual. The air would have been thick with anticipation, fear, and grim determination. Immediately after the sacrifice, the ship was set ablaze. The flames would consume the chieftain, his earthly possessions, and his companion, transforming them into smoke that ascended to the heavens. This fiery end was believed to be the most direct path to the afterlife, purifying and transporting everything to the other realm. The roaring inferno, visible for miles, was a powerful, final statement of the chieftain's status and the tribe's unwavering belief in the continuation of life beyond death, ensuring his eternal glory in Valhalla. Why such a gruesome ritual? Historians suggest multiple reasons. Religious belief was paramount, ensuring the chieftain had a fitting companion and servants in the afterlife. It was also a potent display of power and wealth, a chieftain so rich he could command a human life. Furthermore, it reinforced social order and instilled fear, ensuring loyalty and obedience. For the slave girl, the promise of a glorious afterlife, free from earthly servitude, might have been a powerful, albeit desperate, motivator for her voluntary sacrifice. It speaks to a profound, unwavering faith. The tale of the Rus chieftain's funeral, as witnessed by Ibn Fadlan, offers a stark, unforgettable glimpse into the extreme depths of Viking beliefs. It reminds us that ancient societies navigated life and death with rituals that, while horrifying to modern sensibilities, held profound meaning for them. The volunteer human sacrifice, a rare and specific ritual, underscores a world where loyalty extended beyond the grave, where the journey to the afterlife was as real as any voyage across the seas, and where faith could demand the ultimate price. It's a testament to the enduring mystery and power of human devotion, even in its darkest forms.